Hey there folks, and welcome to this video. This one here is a general notice, so it's where I sit down and start of every week to talk about my plans for the week ahead, look back on times before, and talk about issues that I want to discuss but don't really want to set aside a whole video for, so I can just do like a quick fire round and talk about a couple of different topics I want to talk about. And, well, let's start off by doing a bit of a recap and a plan for the week ahead, and if you don't want to be watching that, there'll be a link in the description down below for you to go and check it out. So, my plan for the week ahead, I don't think we got F1 this weekend. We do have WRC Rally Turkey, so there'll be a preview and a review for that. I just said that because you should say preview and review, so I wanted to change it up a little bit. I believe there are a couple of rounds of BTC for me to catch up on as well, so I need to do that too. And ooh, we've got Le Mans, haven't we? Might do a special to do with Le Mans. Outside of that, going to be talking about news as and when that comes in for different motorsport series. So, say F1, WRC, Formula E, maybe even the WEC as well, because we've got, like I said, Le Mans, and maybe even a few other series outside of that. In terms of streams, I've already got one that I'm thinking of this week so far, and that is BUSR's Assetto Corsa League. We're doing Knockhill and Ford Transits, which is going to be entertaining. I've been doing some practice today, and oh, you're going to hear all kinds of squeaking from this desk. A bit like that, but it's going to be a lot more violent over what's going to be, what, a 2-hour stream? Might do some dirt as well, but I'll let you know in due course. Don't have any RBR planned, and as for RBR last week, 13th place in Rally Australia, and I didn't end up finishing Mont Blanc Morzine. I finished the first leg, and though I was leading for quite a lot of it when I was running it, just made a couple of mistakes, bad tyre gambles, and it really cost me. In addition to that, thank you for the positive reception on the videos that came out in this past week, especially like yesterday's ones. I've seen some pretty good engagement with my F1 content, so thank you for that. And from there, I guess we're coming into the point where I talk about a particular topic. And this week, well, I've been talking about motorsport safety before, and this week I want to talk about the Halo, because I've talked about it a few times. I've always said that it's kind of a force for good for F1, even though there are, of course, some concerns for it. I mean, I'm one of those people who, when I'm doing F1 games or anything to do with motorsport content where you've got the Halo, I will have the Halo 1. I won't put the see-through collar because, to be honest, it doesn't make a difference for me. I look past it, you know, like a lot of people do in the real world. Even though I've got a screen in front of me, I can still look around and past the Halo. It doesn't actually affect how I'm going to be driving, because it's similar to if I was driving a prototype and you've got the pillar down the windscreen, or the windscreen wipers in a prototype, or a GT car if you've got a central resting point for the wiper. But yeah, the Halo, after the kind of the crashes that we've seen recently, and really since its introduction, it's really proved its use. I mean, I felt like the debate was done in 2018. Did we have an F2 collision in 2018, or was that 2019? I think that was 2018 in Catalonia. And then, of course, we had Belgian Grand Prix 2018. That crash involving Fernando Alonso and Charles Leclerc. That proved that the Halo was useful. The next race, Monza 2018, in free practice when Ericsson flipped over, Halo proved useful there. Arguably, Abu Dhabi 2018, even though Hulkenberg had the hanging like a cow comment, Halo proved useful again. It was somewhere that the car could rest. In F1 in 2019, I mean, for example, we saw it again at Spa. I'd argue with Giovinazzi, maybe even with Verstappen. And, of course, if we go through to this season, I mean, I'm even skipping over 2019 F3 Alex Peroni. Skip to this season, I'd argue that, again, Belgian Grand Prix, Spa, George Russell after Giovinazzi's crash. Monza, Charles Leclerc. And Mugello with that restart. But there's another point that I wanted to raise when talking about Magello, which was to do with Lance Stroll's crash, because Lance Stroll went off at what they call the Arabiatas, the flat-out corners through Sector 2. That was tyre exploded, and he went basically backwards off through the gravel. I know drivers were praising Magello for being like gravel over, say, the tarmac runoffs, and with the kind of they build them like they used to vibe. And that's true. I think that there should be some elements of old school F1 design, or even just motoring circuit designs, because of course Mugello never hosted an F1 race before yesterday, that should be implemented. But I don't think gravel traps are necessarily one of those things. The reason why gravel traps have largely been phased out is because of the tendency for a car to roll. If you've got a gravel bed, you've got a surface that moves. So if the car digs in, it could roll over. And I was worried when I saw Stroll's crash, where he went backwards at about 300 kph, 186 in miles per hour in old money. I was surprised to see him just not dig in or roll over or anything like that. That was a massive impact, and seeing him just skate across the gravel, if the car bounced at the wrong angle, that car would be digging in. And of course, Halo would be useful in that it's a crash structure that can usually take the weight of stuff like a double-decker bus. But repeated end-on-end rolling, that would test it to its very limits. But yeah, I think the Halo debate, I mean, I've felt like it's long been over now. And actually seeing the kind of debris that we saw in Mugello, as well as that we've seen before in F1, I think there are more arguments for an aero screen now. I mean, IndyCar managed to get it to work, and they're on ovals, so any kind of disorientation really has been eliminated there. Yeah, I think that safety debate is over. And as much as we've got discussions about whether or not Mugello should have these kinds of safety restrictions, I think that gravel can be useful in places. But you need to try and make sure that, the car isn't likely going to dig in and roll. And, yeah, old style design should be brought back into F1. I, for one, think that, the Red Bull Ring is a good design. But that doesn't mean we have to have gravel traps. You could just have hilly circuits with undulation, gradients. Why don't we just do that? No need to try and kill the drivers or anything like that. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.